All right, man. All smiles. That's looking good. Positive thinking. So we have four more things we are going to discuss. Anything that comes to your mind, let me know. I'm going to add it here. Okay.
Okay, sure.
So just feel free to jump right in. So what I want to share with you in part two, just as an introduction again, anyone who's watching part two of this recorded segment, this is a new feature I'm doing. This actually is what the gurus of entrepreneurship recommend. And one of my absolute best gurus is Steve Blank. He's written a book called The Startup Owner's Manual. Let me stop sharing the screen for a second and share this with everyone who will be watching this. In Canada, in Uganda, anywhere in the world, right? This, why is this not coming to my screen? Is your video?
Yeah, I'm really seeing it. I'm seeing it.
You're seeing it, right? But it's for some
Yeah,
reason.
yeah.
Okay, let me pin this for a second. This book is called The Startup Owner's Manual, and it's not showing up because of my background, but here we go. And it's written by two people named Steve Blank and Bob Dorff. It looks like this.
It's actually clear, so.
It looks like this, okay?
Oh,
And,
they get lost.
yeah, okay, let me,
Oh, okay, it's fine.
let me,
It's actually clear to me here.
yeah, I'll take out the recording background, which means you're gonna see some clutter in the background, but it's all good. Okay. Okay, here we go. So the book's called Startup Owner's Manual. And it's written by Steve Blank and Bob Dorff. And there's two parts in multiple areas that they talk about. And the two parts are customer discovery. Let me see if I can bring up a image. I won't talk too much about this. Yeah, okay, let me bring up, I'm gonna share the screen at this point. I'm gonna unpin my screen and I'm gonna share the screen. So basically we talk about, in a pure entrepreneurship 101 kind of beginners kind of sense, is the customer discovery aspect and the customer validation aspect. And when you work in tandem with these activities, the big part of that is talking to key stakeholders and paying customers, or somebody who could become a paying customer to you. So we use tools like the business model canvas, which is up on my wall. You can also run software. I won't talk about that. But what happens is, as you're talking to customers, the key thing is talking to other people, other farmers, policymakers. This is just a sample, right? It's different for everybody, depending on what kind of business they're doing. You get the point. You talk to different stakeholders.
Sure.
This helps better your understanding so that you can solve the pain points and the problems that's going to get you to what we call product market fit. And the way you do this is through loops, and you work in these loops. And the pivot means you are moving towards an area whereby you're solving a problem that somebody has. And like they say at startupschool.org, make something people want. So you're already doing that. But you need to, everyone's got to keep pivoting, and you got to pivot towards where the opportunities are. It's called product market fit. I won't do an exhaustive thing today. I've made other videos about this.
I think I have a read of it.
Okay, you've heard about the product market fit.
I just have to have a read of the book.
I gotcha. Yeah, this book is meant as a resource book, so you don't read it in one day. So, going back to this thing you're seeing in front of yourself, these activities lead to customer creation, which eventually leads to the formation of a company. But the book itself, you read it as a resource book. I got to pin my video again for a minute. You read it as a resource book, which means you don't read it all in one day. And it's got different sections. But one of the good things I like about the book is in the back of the book, there are checklists. So contingent on the kind of activity you're doing, you don't have to go and figure out what you should be doing in order to do that. So you will already have what we call a minimum viable product started. But if somebody was working on that, this is what they would do, possibly. to get going on that high fidelity minimum viable product. These are the set of activities. Okay, and there's a lot of checklists for a lot of different things. There's one for building a low fidelity MVP, for example, right? Or testing the problems and assessing the importance of doing so. So basically, there's a checklist for the core set of activities that any entrepreneur should be performing. There's activities for sales, for financial modeling, so on and so forth. This is a great resource for anybody who will be watching this now in the future. I just want to share this for everybody in the future. Okay. The other
This
thing
is
I want
very
to
important.
share. Okay, thank you very much. Feel free to jump in. We're gonna make this interactive.
Sure.
Manasi, you had to drop off. I told him to drop off because he was not feeling well, as you know. So let me share my screen again. And in terms of the resources, a few resources I want to share with you is my friend Adebayo from the well, it says Nigeria, but he's really from Ghana. I don't know why this says Nigeria. Maybe he's from Nigeria. I'm pretty sure he's from Ghana. Anyway, so Adebayo has this venture, as you can see, it's called Bani Agribusiness Solutions. So his focus is on teaching students at different grades the means to be able to cultivate specific crops so that they grow up with the knowledge of becoming self-sustainable. So he's thinking like a school, and then there's a what's it called? Agricultural facility right next to the school in a safe, sustainable sense. I won't go into the details.
I'll check him out.
Yeah, I'd love for you to connect with him. He's already got some crops going, like cassava and a bunch of other crops, corn, as you can see. And I've met him on the internet. He seems like a very nice guy. Okay, so I think that's a connection. Specific to the autonomy part we were talking about, because you were talking about the technology aspect, I would like to introduce you to my friend Nathan George, wonderful fellow. And if you can figure out a way to work with him, then I think this can be a good fit, right? Without going on the details, he's already worked on delivering some key amazing projects. And, it would be pretty amazing if you can work with him, because some of the systems they've developed are quite robust. So I don't think there's going to be any, I believe there's enough opportunities for each one of to work together, right?
Yeah,
now, if you develop some technology working with Nathan, we could license it from you, and vice versa. Like we develop some technology in aquaponics or specific to that, then we'll do a deal, like some agreement with you within reason, right? So
yeah, that would be fine.
Yeah, so I just want to introduce that. So feel free to another. I'm not going to go exhaustive list, but Riley and Mateo, very amazing. Same as Nathan, very capable. They've worked with NASA, U.S. Coast Guards, others. These guys, it's a small team, but it's a very, very adept, powerful team. And their expertise is in non-cloud-based navigation systems. Meaning, if you have a robot and you want it to navigate somewhere, land, air, sea, wherever, then typically robots talk to the cloud technology like Google Cloud or Amazon AWS, Microsoft Azure, you get the point. But what if you wanted to, what if this was a robot, right? This is an example, and you wanted it to navigate by itself without talking to any other internet-based technology? That is their expertise. They make robots, not necessarily this size, but they make robots that can navigate without assistance. That's a very powerful thing if you stop and think about it, particularly in harsher environments like off-planet, but also possibly in remote areas. Maybe you've got an installation underground or in the desert, wherever, in the middle of the mountains, there's no cell phone coverage. Internet from space is not getting there for some reason. For that reason and other, not just that, but other reasons too, you should consult with Riley and Mateo. Okay, so these three contacts that come to my mind. My friend Judy is working in your part of the world, so happy to make introductions.
Yeah, sure.
Amancio, I can bring up their direct profile here. Well, I did with Banny Agribusiness, but that's a business profile. The other two are personal contacts, so maybe that's what I'm thinking, not bring it up here. But Amancio
Yeah.
is an electrical engineer who has expertise on the solar side of things. He's actually working in Uganda now. He's originally from Mozambique, as I think I shared this earlier. And
Oh, yeah.
happy to make those introductions. If I forget, just write down Judy and Amancio. Okay.
Amancio.
So let's write it down here. So we'll say 3 tabs because they're open right now. 3 resources via tabs that are open. And Judy plus Amancio. Okay, because they are in your part of the world. They're active. Okay, any questions so far before we move on to the next item?
I think we can move ahead. I'm getting hold of this.
Now your audio came in choppy there. Could you please repeat that?
I think we can just go ahead.
Okay, you're saying
Next thing?
you can move forward, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so my next question to you is, how do others get a hold of you? How do others get a hold of you?
Sure. One thing is somebody can check out. Oh, hello.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. I think one thing people can. Oh, my battery is running low. Let me.
Take your time, no rush. I'm gonna stop my video because it's gonna help with the bandwidth on your side. And if you want, because we're not sharing anything, you can also stop your video if you're listening. So let's try stopping our video to see if the bandwidth helps with the bandwidth. So let's stop our videos. Sorry about the technical difficulties, whoever may be watching the recording of this video. I'm just gonna message Feta on my messaging app to see what's going on. I will be right back. Feta, are you there? Okay, Feta dropped off. I'm just checking with him. I'm checking with him if he's joining again. Not here. Okay, well, the computer shut down because the battery went low. So now the computer is getting charged and Feta should be with us momentarily. In the meanwhile, I'm going to share the screen and talk about next steps. So we were talking about how do others get a hold of you? And Feta's contact information is available through his page on YouTube, the link to which we shared in the previous part 1 of this video that's recorded. But if you want to know how to get a hold of Feta, then what you need to do is Google 5-acre farm dash Feta. And when you do that, then you come across the link. That's the first link that you come across. And again, we're repeating this information so that anyone who may be watching just part 2 of this video can get directly to the source. Once you get to the YouTube page, you're obviously welcome to subscribe and like and hit the bell to get the notifications. But the videos are here. And when you click on the About section, that is where the contact information is. So I won't share the contact information in the video itself, but that is how you will get a hold of Feta. And I'm going to just verify that with Feta as soon as Feta comes back, okay? And as soon as Feta comes back, we're going to talk about services and problems Feta would like solved. In the meanwhile, in the interest of time, I didn't spend a lot of time. Feta was talking about this in the part 1 of the video, but again, we're looking at a possibility whereby this mechanism can be implemented around the world in order to be able to process. Let me make sure it does. Okay, Feta is back. Welcome back, Feta.
Thank you very much. It was a little mistake there.
No worries. Welcome back. I was just talking about how others could get a hold of you. So my recommendation was to go to your YouTube page and then click on your About section, and that's where the contact information is. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's actually a better option that they can find the contact information over there. I'll always make sure I update it and it's up to date.
Right. That's what I was thinking. And if you have a website or anything, do you have a website?
Coming up with a website soon. It will be the 5acrefarm.com. That's what the name will be. So.
Wow. Okay, let's write it down. Website is under. When will it be launched?
Say it's not actually perfect. Let me talk about a month because I want to make sure it is well
when
designed.
are you thinking of launching it? Which month?
This is June, right? Next mid-July. That's a target.
Okay.
Mid-July. Sure.
So once you have it up and running, we can put the link in the description. Not right now, because others may want to hit it and then they can't get to it, and then they'll be confused. So right now, we're just going to redirect everybody to your YouTube page.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'll share with you the link when it is open, actually.
Okay, wonderful. Now, my next question is talking a little bit about the services that you offer and how do you charge for these services?
Basically, right now, what I do is consultation services. I have people who ask for consultations via Zoom, and it's basically $50 for. It's cheap, $50 for an hour. Not very much, but that's when you really. But I can make it more than an hour. I just put like $50 for consultations. That's worth it. I have people who have had consultations for over 2 to 3 times, but I still charge them only $50 for all those times. So it's not much. As long as I've made the contact with you, and I always keep helping such a person at $50. So I think the hour part of it can be ignored for now. Just $50 consultation via Zoom.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. And do you also share any documentation or literature with the students or people who are taking the training?
Yeah, I have the slides, and there are some the PDFs I usually recommend to them. I send them to see and how they can also improve on the data on the PDFs, how they work on the PDFs, they can make it better for themselves in the practical aspect of it.
Gotcha.
And so I'm trying to work on also my own kind of PDFs, write my own articles or journals about.
Would that be included, or is that included in the price, or is that separate pricing?
No, that's just all in it. All in the
$50 per hour.
Yeah, sure.
So I will just say
it's not actually. Actually, it's not like per hour. So the per hour version of it can be ignored for now, because I'm trying to look at sharing the knowledge, not really at an expensive kind of cost. So you can just put $50 consultation fee, not per hour.
Okay, well, okay, I see what you're saying. It's, $50 consultation. Man, you should charge, if you know how to do this, you should forge deals. Maybe come up with a franchise, where we're going to talk about this in successive talks, because
Sure.
you're doing the practical work, and you know what you're doing. So
Yeah,
one
sure.
question I had while we're talking about this is, and if I can go back to your page, are you getting 100 kgs of yield a day? Is that, I don't mean this in a bad way. I'm just trying to confirm. You're consistently getting 100 kgs a day of new larvae every day? Yes, no, maybe.
Not really.
Okay.
That is just like a thumbnail, but the potential is there, and it's only that I get the eggs to produce that capacity, but I don't have. I'm yet planning to build the structures to accommodate that, but meaning the spaces for keeping the larvae still are not enough. So, but the capacity, the larvae needs have the capacity. The larvae needs have the capacity to produce in that. So it's basically increasing on the capacity right now for the facilities, and that I'll be doing it I think very soon. I've come up with a plan. It's just the implementation of it and the funding of it. That's all.
Okay, so
the structures.
the space is a consideration, and obviously looking for funding.
Yeah, that's true.
I just want to share with you, I found a pupa in the garden. I don't know if you can see this.
Wow, that's great.
It hasn't turned into a fly yet. I have no idea what kind of fly this is, or a wasp. I have no idea. But I found this pupa. I don't know if you can see it. It's right here. Do you see this?
Yes. Yeah.
I put a little leaf here. I don't know if it's like, I gotta educate myself on this, but this is very coincidental. I picked up I'm trying to not shake it too much, because this thing is gonna be in pupa for the next 10 days. So then I covered it with cheesecloth.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
hope it is a black soldier fly pupa.
I hope so too. I gotta put this in shade and not shake it too much, because the embryonic stage may get impacted. But okay, so I'm hearing more space and funding, right? So are you
Yeah.
So let's put this in the, we're gonna just let me share this again. So next steps for Feta 5-acre farm. You said funding, raising funding.
Yeah, sure.
Grow, expand the territory of the farm, or we can use some other words, right? More space for the farm.
Yeah.
More
Actually, not most. The space in the farm. There's more space for the black soldier fly. The facilities, yeah, black soldier fly. But actually, the space is there, but now to get the facilities in place is what I'm needed right now. I'm working on that.
Okay. So more space for the black soldier fly larva farming, right?
I think we can say more facilities. I think it makes more sense. More facilities. Yeah. Sure.
What does that mean? More facilities, like?
I mean, like more buildings or more constructions for the black soldier fly farm.
Okay, so
I've never really had.
So we'll just say
sure.
that more buildings and constructions for black soldier.
Yeah.
It's gonna save redundancy.
Sure.
Yeah, have you heard of 3D printing?
Sorry?
Have you heard of 3D printing?
Printing?
3D printing?
Oh,
Okay,
not really.
let me share with you.
3D printing. Okay. I heard of it, but I've not used it much. So
You had a 3D
I've
print?
not really used. I've actually have it on my laptop, but I rarely use it. So I've not mastered how to use it.
Yeah, so you can start with simple software. Like I'm getting one of my acquaintance to start with something basic. This is not an
Okay.
active recommend if you want. So you can start with something like Tinkercad. I don't know AutoCAD is free or not. We're gonna run out of time in 10 minutes, so we got to wrap this up. But you can start in Tinkercad and then move to AutoCAD or some other technology which allows you to
Okay.
design simple stuff. And then I think you can 3D print from here, right? So you convert it into a
Okay.
printed file, and then there must be a 3D printing facility close to you. Then what you can do is you can 3D print. These are free images. These are Creative Commons images. But you basically make stuff layer by layer. Have you heard of this concept before?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So now what you can do is you can 3D print in mud. And let me find images again. Yes, you can 3D print in mud, in biology, and a whole bunch of other things. Sorry, I didn't do the search before, so
I'll try to find it out more.
not getting the right links, but you can 3D print in mud. So if we go with a Google search, then you will find that there are printers out there that already exist that can print in mud. So we'll take this offline, and so you could have to reduce your cost for what you're thinking, you could have a 3D printer that you can purchase or lease, and you would basically 3D print the structure using mud because it's the cheapest resource available. That's not actual advice, by the way. You'd have to do your testing, due diligence, because some people have told me that if you make the walls out of mud, the insects burrow through it. So if the insects burrow through it, they're eventually going to get to your larva. So you got to put some kind of shielding in between. So we won't go into solution mode right now, but that is a possible resource. Okay, so how much are you raising? Going back to funding. Do you have any idea of how much you need to raise and for what activities? You don't have to share everything with me. Like if you want to share, this is optional. This is totally optional. How much are you raising?
That can be like I had a BOQ of 12.5. That's $12,500. That's like about 45.
Is that Canadian or American?
American. That's about 45 million Ugandan shillings.
Okay, so 12,500 US dollars. We'll just go with US dollars because it's universal. In case somebody is and they're like, this guy's, we're just gonna jump right in and start funding you. Let me ask you a question, and you don't have to answer this. Does this factor in really good pay for your employees and for yourself? Yes, no, maybe.
Not really right now.
Okay, so what I would suggest is, and just in the interest of time, because we're going to run out of time in 6 minutes, do your projections again, financial projection and how much you want to raise, and include the salary, and then raise that money and raise for 18 months. Okay, so include expenses and definitely salaries. So salaries.
Salary is a part of expenses.
Yeah, benefits. Make sure your employees get really good benefits and expenses, right? Could be childcare expense, fuel, other expenses, and then raise for 18 months of operations. You typically raise for 18 months because you don't want to spend like 2 months raising money and then you run out of money after 8 months, and then you spend 2 more months, and you want to raise for 18 months. Okay,
that's a great idea there.
Yeah, that's fundraising 101. Founders Institute has good Founders Institute. If you Google that, good resource on fundraising. And also, what is the other one? Startup School. .org. And in general too, in general is a good resource. So they have a curriculum section and also a library. So in their library, you will find the fundraising, and you'll find some in the curriculum too, but maybe 1 or 2 videos. But in the library, they have a whole bunch of stuff. So in the library, you go to Startup School and go to the YC library. But in general too, you can Google it on, like, you know, on YouTube or Google it and find the resources. So
Yeah.
for the buildings and construction, we explored possibility of 3D printing. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
But requires further testing.
So we'll check out that.
One off-topic thought is, like, I was thinking about this, but you want these beings to grow up in like as natural of an environment as possible, because I think, you know, a longer time span is going to have an impact on their genetics. Because if they're living in a stressful environment continuously, then it's going to break down their DNA, and then you may get, like, I don't know at which point they may become less susceptible to pathogens and diseases, even though they thrive in that environment. But you see what I'm getting at? So in the future, you want to develop facilities that mimic real world operations of these flies, right? I think in the future,
Yeah.
we're just going to be able to print protein. So this is called
Print protein? That's nice in there.
this is called bioreactors. So this is something you can Google in the future. And I don't want to speak too much, but I had a good chat with somebody in this. I've spoken to 2 people who know a lot. One of them knows a lot about this space. The other ones want to fund this space, but they look something like this. This is a bad example, but I'm just finding a new free image. But it's basically it's like a tank, and it can make protein and fats. It looks like this actually. So this has been in operation for decades. It's getting better, but at the economic price point, it doesn't make sense. So
Okay.
if all goes well, in 10, 15 years, we're going to be getting our protein and our fats from these machines. This is what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
And these are free images, so I can share. But there's still going to be a need for insects for the purpose of bioprocessing. So processing green waste, huge opportunity.
Wow,
Because if we just leave that waste, it fills up the landfills. So huge opportunity, I would say, in terms of that. Okay, I just want to share that with you. Okay,
thank
now
you
we
very
have
much.
3 minutes left. What problems would you like solved, or your final concluding thoughts? I'm going to keep quiet and pass it to you. You have 2.5 minutes to make your mark. Go.
So one of the biggest problems to solve is technology for the BSF, and another thing is the policies. That's now for the country itself. The policies and regulatory frameworks for the farming and selling of the maggots or the larvae for BSF. They are still not in place, and hopefully can engage few politicians and see how that can work out. And then just looking for more research about how the whole process and how the process of BSF can really be made more automated and all that. That's technology. And then the biggest problem right now somebody can face is actually waste collection. So we have the waste, it's a problem in the city right now, but the collection is it's very hard to get the waste, though it is poorly disposed, but it's very hard to collect it actually. That's the one problem, that if the policies can allow it to be solved, and then I think this is a very great opportunity for anyone to take up, basically. I think that's all I can say for now.
Okay.
And that's beside the funds that the whole thing will require. So that's what I can say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I need half a minute to wrap up. So just take a look at this and let me know if this sounds about right. I will also review this with you before posting the video. Any final thoughts? Sorry, we should have done this earlier, but we're on the free version of Zoom. Any final thoughts? You have 30 seconds. Go.
So any final thing that I can tell is that anybody who wants to venture in this, feel free to contact me, feel free to learn from me. I'm desperate and I'm desperate to teach others about this and see how we can all together develop better formats of getting the environment to be sustainable. Thank you very much.
Okay, wonderful. And thank you very much, Feta. This was a very educational conversation. I would personally love to see your venture thrive itself as a venture, and you can do training on a side. I think that would be the right way to go, but I could be wrong. So I thank you for showing up today. Our meeting's going to end. Thank you very much. If you like, we can do this again sometime.